Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Al-Qalam Science वाला के साथ मैं हूँ आपका host Mohsin Nazir Malik, and in today's video we are going to talk about Earth in motion. By Earth in motion, you will be understanding that how Earth is revolving around the sun or how Earth is rotating on its own axis. But no, we are not going to talk about that because you already know about it. Here in this video, we're going to talk how the continents are formed, what are continents, and how they are being continuously changed. Suppose that we can have a look of Earth from space. We wouldn't have recognized the Earth because 500 million years ago, suppose that we have time machine and we go back into the time of 500 million years, you would not be able to recognize the Earth from space because it was not like that which it is today. How was that form of Earth? Back then, most of the land masses were not like that. The land masses, which we call as continents, were joined together to make a huge, gigantic land mass, which we used to call as Pangea. This is the theory of pangenesis, which is also related to the rise of life on Earth. The theory is called as pangenesis. Well, we'll speak in the other video about that pangenesis, but right now we are going to talk about that time we used to call as Pangea. At that time, the whole Earth continents were just like that of single mass, single land mass, which I've already said was called as Pangea. Now the question is, if there was a single land mass, if there was a single Pangea, single continent, then how so many continents which we see today are formed? And the next question is, what it would be in next 500 million years? So here's the answer. Deep inside the Earth, where there was a lot of heat and a lot of pressure that caused the rocks inside the Earth part, which we call as mantle, to melt away. But near Earth's surface, there was a crust formed, which we call as Earth crust, that remained in the form of rocks, that remained in the form of consolidated mass, that wasn't molten. That's why we call it as Earth's crust. There were currents of heat, and at the different periods of time, rise and fall of temperature inside the Earth in the mantle caused the formation of these continents. That heat changes within the Earth caused the Earth crust to break away into several land masses, into several pieces. And those small pieces, as they were together initially, but they start moving slowly apart, thus forming the continents. Here, the formation of continents mean that rise and fall of temperature caused the inner mantle to change, but the Earth crust was remaining the same. But because of changes in the heat, Earth's crust was broken into parts, forming some land masses. Initially, after the Pangea, this process happened about 94 million years ago. At that time, the whole Pangea divided into several pieces. That process was called as breakup. Why we call it as breakup? Because you can see that. Because you can understand from the point that the whole land mass was 6 pieces was created at that time, which were not just a part of each other, but they were somehow connected to some point. But it was not like that which were present. It was not like that as was in the Pangea. So the land masses created at that time, which I said there it is about 94 million years ago, the land masses formed. Those were North America, South America, Eurasia, Africa, and Australia. At the time of breakup, as these land masses were formed, a lot of water bodies become congested into these land masses, and they were being called as oceans. At that time, the oceans thus formed were called, one of them is Atlantic Ocean, and other one was called as Tethys Ocean. Let me add some other information at that point, which we call as breakup. That was 94 million years ago. At that time, dinosaurs roamed the earth. In the timeline of history of universe, in the timeline of history of earth, that period was called as Jurassic period. All those species which are dinosaurs and dinosaurs-like roamed all over the earth. Then third stage, which we call as extinction. That stage is called as extinction, as I have mentioned, in the period of breakup, which is about 94 million years ago. Dinosaurs used to roam on Earth. Now the third stage of formation of continents is called as extinction. Now the question is, why we call it as extinction, as all the dinosaurs roamed about 94 million years ago during the period of breakup, but at the third stage, which we are calling as extinction, which is about 65 million years ago, a huge asteroid smashed into the earth. During that third stage, when asteroids smashed into the earth, it causes those continents to break away. There were two major changes in the surface of earth. Those were the formation of Gulf of Mexico, and other was separation of Europe and Asia, which was called as Eurasia during the breakup period. Now, Eurasia was pulled apart to form Europe and Asia, and the third part, which was a major change in the surface of Earth, was the formation of Gulf of Mexico. Now, land masses, which we have been calling as continents. Now, those continents were namely North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia. Here arises a question, why we have called that third part, the third stage of formation of surface of Earth, as extinction. As described earlier, dinosaurs and other species used to roam on Earth, as a huge asteroid smashed into the Earth, causing those dinosaurs and several other species to extinct. Here, I would like to add, Earth have been inhabited by several kinds of species, several kinds of living organisms. In the life of Earth have been replacing several species. It means during the different periods of time, different type of species have been roaming on Earth. At the time of Jurassic period, there were huge in number the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs were huge in number, but at the third stage of formation of Earth's surface, which we call as extinction, they extinct away. All the dinosaurs were buried inside the continents of Earth. I would summarize the formation of Earth up till now into three stages. Again, at that point, the very first was Pangea, which was about 360 million years ago. Then second stage was breakup. That breakup was 94 million years ago, and extinction was 65 million years ago. Now, there's the last stage of formation of surface of Earth, formation of continents. That last stage is called as Ice Age. Why we call it as Ice Age? Because in the Pangea, in the second stage, which was called as breakup, and third stage, which was called as extinction, during these period of times, there was no ice on Earth. You can imagine it from the fact that might be the internal heat of the Earth didn't allow the formation of ice on the surface of Earth. But in the Ice Age, which is near about 18,000 years ago, the process of formation of ice on Earth begins. Formation of ice on the surface of Earth, that's why we call it as Ice Age, which is about 18,000 years ago. It is the time period that led to the formation of North Pacific Ocean, South Pacific Ocean, and the continent, which is totally covered with ice, we call as Antarctica. And during Ice Age, continents formed are North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, and together with the formation of ice, Antarctica, which covered the south and the north pole of our Earth. That age was called as Ice Age, which is about 18,000, remember, 18,000 years ago. This is the formation of Earth that that happen into 4 major stages. Well, that was all about Earth in motion, which I have tried to explain in that short video. In the next video, we'll talk about Earth shapers, how different shapes of Earth are formed, how the topography of Earth at the different points is different. What are the factors that cause the formation of mountains, formation of land, which we call as plain, what caused the formation of plateaus. In the next video, we'll talk about the tectonic plates. In the next video, we'll also talk about the hot spots where most of the earthquakes occur. Well, until then, take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.